Buongiorno. How are you? Today, I'm going to be speaking about a lot of interesting new phenomenon that are reshaping our lifestyle. And my talk is, as you can see, new language, new signs. And one of the big signs that I see happening that I track are Uber trends that are reshaping our lifestyle dramatically and quickly. Now, an Uber trend is a big trend that is leaving a lot of sub-trends in its wake. And I track 8. I'm going to spare you all of them, except 2. And one I'm going to speak about today is the acceleration of life. Because as you well know, everything is going faster these days. We are, in fact, enveloped in a massive new global revolution. And that global revolution took shape in the Middle East. A Tunisian fruit vendor was able to create a massive revolution, and it was all made possible through the use of Facebook and Twitter. In fact, you can see from this particular sign that it was this digital revolution that is at the heart of this upheaval in the Middle East. One Egyptian thought that Facebook was so fantastic that he decided to call his firstborn Facebook. Just call me Face. And as you can tell, there's a hashtag up there, January 25th. The hashtag is a whole new language that has been made popular by Twitter. And it is really a database language. So think about it. We are making consumers very use of a very powerful tool that is enveloped in this Twitter social medium. So as you can imagine, this is spreading quickly. The media are starting to use it. You can tell here on screen we have not only the hashtag, but also the @ symbol, which is your address or handle on Twitter, displayed on a television screen. And other shows are pushing the envelope even further, where they're trying to integrate the storyline in Twitter, as this particular television show, Suits, did. And you can tell the Suits hashtag is in the lower left corner. Now, back in March, those of you who read Vogue Italia saw that the hashtag had made the cover. So you can tell this is going through society at great speed. And if the media are embracing it, wow, the marketers can't be too far behind, right? Exactly. So the movie Prometheus was marketed with a hashtag, are you seeing this? Now, you can, of course, do more direct marketing right on Twitter, which, for example, for the royal wedding in England, SlimFast decided to connect the hashtag directly to its Diet SlimFast program. Or, if you want, you can also try to create a story on Twitter. Unfortunately for McDonald's, this happened to backfire because a lot of people decided to tell stories McDonald's did not want to hear. So sometimes things can go bad. But the message is really good. The language is revolutionary. And in Russia, Xenia Sobchak has gotten herself a huge following. She's named the Paris Hilton of Russia. But she's taking on the authorities in a pretty bold move, all made possible, again, by social media. And even the normally very reserved Japanese are positively excited when at an animated film festival this past December, they set the Twitter tweets per second record at 25,000 plus, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. Pretty amazing. Now, we're seeing totally different signs emerging by just tracking this conversation on Twitter. In fact, we just discovered that we can now start to detect disease outbreaks that are happening on Twitter, which is fantastic. as happened in Haiti just very recently. Now, online oxygen is a whole new language. And it's a term that refers to the fact that we're addicted to Twitter and Facebook. As of 2010, as you well know, we already spend more time with social networking than we do with email. And for some people, that addiction is so intense, Erykah Badu, that singer from Texas, decided to use Twitter while she gave birth, or as one site put it, she tweeted while she squeezed. You can laugh if you like. Over in Spain, Sor Jesus Maria Galan, or Maria Jesus Galan, was banned from the convent because she was Facebooking too much. How crazy is that? So I went over to her page and I liked her right away. Yes, the addiction to Facebook and Twitter is intense. And so intense, in fact, that you know that captain from that unnamed cruise liner was using Facebook while the cruise ship ran aground. Now, that captain would be happy to know that you can now use Facebook while you're driving your car, thanks to General Motors, which, of course, you know, led one comedian to say, "Hey, I'm so happy that this happened because I was getting so bored talking and texting." Yes, exactly. Totally. So, social sharing. As you well know, that digital camera that was a revolution just 10 years ago has already been subsumed by the mobile phone camera, which is now the #1 camera in the world. And the same is happening with online video. We're sharing so many videos, people are watching 4 billion videos a month on YouTube alone. And that is a pretty intense number. So as you can imagine, this is going to start changing things. In fact, you know, who can resist a YouTube video like this one? I'm sure you've seen it. Maybe you haven't, but I thought I'd show it to you.
Wise, man. Give him the evil look. Wise, man. Give him the evil look.
In fact, if you find yourself looking at one of these videos at work, or heaven forbid, updating your Facebook status, you're participating in a new sign called social not working. So, no wonder everyone, the cat freaks out when Facebook or Twitter is down, right? Exactly. We all get excited when that happens. So anyway, we've got another new sign, a new language. FOMO, the fear of missing out. Really well explained in this pillow I found on Etsy. If you leave parties late or you're always texting, you're connecting, you know you're addicted and you're afraid that you're going to miss something. And that is a whole new sign of today's living. In fact, this teen set a record of receiving and sending 14,000 text messages in 1 month. Can you imagine? I want to see her fingers fly on the keyboard. It must be insane. I think I'm going to hire her to do my social networking outreach. Reina is just part and parcel of a whole new culture that always wants to be in touch, always wants to be connected. And it has already driven, in the short time smartphones have been on the market, 5 years now, right, to making social networking the #2 most popular feature behind GPS, which, as you well know, helps you find directions. So that is an incredible feat all by itself. So these apps are making our whole lifestyle change. And in fact, we're so hypnotized by it. I love this cartoon. A bunch of friends are coming over to stare at their phones. Isn't that what happens at your parties too, right? They all come over to look at their phones. Exactly. I love it. Multitasking. That's another thing we need to do to save time in the acceleration of life. And we have to do it everywhere. So we have to be busy staring at screens. Now, I'm sure you remember this from last year here in Milan when this kid fell off the train tracks while playing his his PSP, Sony PSP. They're going to repeat it again. But, he was saved by the policeman, as you can tell. Thank God. But this gives you an inkling of how incredibly absorbed we are in our multitasking pursuits. And he's not unique. He's part and parcel of this whole culture. Like I said, there's this 16-year-old girl in Tampa, Florida, who decided to jump in front of a truck to save her iPod. Think about what went on through her mind. My life or my iPod? My life or my iPod? My iPod. Crazy, right? OMG is what you have to say. Or if you are in China, you would say OMLG, oh my Lady Gaga. Yeah, OMG. Think about this. We are so in love with our digital devices that it makes us cry because we're so happy when we get one. And this whole OMG culture, hey, look at that. It's already now in the Oxford English Dictionary. OMG and LOL are in the dictionary. And to show you how this language has invaded our culture, I love this Esso dealer in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, who decided to express gasoline prices using chat lingo. Regular gasoline is LOL. The highly leaded is OMG, and I'm going to let you read what Supreme costs, okay? This is so humorous. I love it. I think it's great. Anyway, now the other sign is multimedia tasking, because we are in the media business, and we know this is splitting our attention span. And one of the perfect examples is the use of tablets, which I will cover in more detail later, but this tells you already that people are splitting their time doing different things. Now, as you can imagine, if you are splitting your time doing different things, you're going to forget more. Don't you forget more nowadays? Don't you find yourself forgetting more? You know what it's called? MCI. And here's my Italian definition of MCI. You can read it for yourself. It's part of our digital lifestyle. And that is a huge Uber trend that is sweeping our world. And that Uber trend is making us forget more. So, on to the iPadification of society. Yes, the tablets. Everyone has these things. There's 100 million sold. Before you know it, we're going to be inundated by them. It's changing the dynamics of the whole marketplace. I love the fact that you already have 7 out of 10 children able to use a computer mouse, but only 1 in 10 can tie their own shoelaces. Doesn't that tell you something? Take a look at this video of this iPad being used by this little baby. Look, she wants to click through. Does not work. Who needs that boring magazine? It does not work. Well, you get the attention here. This is what's happening here is that we're reshaping our whole way of using media, cookbooks. And if you're going to use the iPad as a cookbook, you're going to need a cookbook stand. And it's not just the consumers that are being reshaped by this. Professionals are being reshaped too. The use of iPads by doctors is already at 26%. In the Beverly Hills, there's a hotel called the Belvedere where they have put iPads in the room, and already 75% of the people who check in are using it to order room service. So you can see this is already changing everything. The retail dynamic is changing. Some retailers are already starting to put iPads as a kiosk so that customers can order. You can now use Square to book sales with a very simple iPad or iPhone device and put it on a stand. And of course, if the stand becomes a huge business, if you've got 1 billion iPads in 5 years, then we're going to need a lot of kiosks to be able to use them professionally in our businesses, right? So this is a huge change. And then, of course, the iPadification of mass media is happening too. Yeah, quickly. 42% of tablet owners use them daily while watching TV. So they're typically emailing while they're using it. So you can already see multimedia tasking happening with the tablet. And of course, you know, when they do use them, they're going to start preferring it. 63% are using it to watch television while they have a television that they could be watching on. So that already tells you this is preference. I like it better than the television set, right? So as you can imagine, the cable television operators are starting to offer apps so that you can start watching those TV programs you normally get on your television using your iPad. And that, of course, is creating massive amounts of change, because we already know that they are 30% more likely to watch video longer on an iPad than they do on their desktop computer, because it's a lean-back medium, not a lean-forward medium. So as a result, you know, you've got Disney and a huge network, and Nielsen announcing that we're now going to measure iPad media usage because it's starting to affect our business. And they better, because it is affecting their business. It is affecting their business big time. I live in a country that is so addicted to television that this is an amazing statistic, that we now have less television households while total television households has continued to grow. And that tells you something dramatic is happening out there. Something really dramatic. So as you can imagine, this is also affecting the magazine business. Here's a great survey about what would you like to see in your magazine tablet app that you're not getting. And notice, we want consistency of the user interface. But more importantly, and this is critical for marketers, I want to be able to buy items directly from what I see, from the stories. And I want advertising that is more tailored to me. And the fourth one is the most important one. Again, the same thing of preference. Between an iPad magazine and a magazine, I will choose the iPad magazine. And that is, again, showing you the trend and the sign that is taking place. So the marketers, of course, are jumping in on the game. Domino's has a very cool iPad app that allows you to play a little game, make your own pizza, but you can also order it. So you get the gaming and you get the buying merging into one little app. And of course, marketers should take a look at this. I think this is really cool. This is in Dubai. Don't you love it? Can you believe it? That little device that sits on the refrigerator is connected via Bluetooth to your smartphone and places the order via your phone. This is amazing technology. Pizza-making business is being revolutionized, which should really speak to your heart. And these apps, you know, they're becoming so powerful. This is my favorite. This is a control freak app. Well, you don't have to track your luggage anymore by going to some person and talking about this it was black bag and it was this small, and you know those people, they're stupid. You don't want to deal with them. So now you can just track it through your app. This is power. No wonder people are so addicted to it. And they're already spending about 40 minutes a day on apps on average. Now, of course, that's average. Remember, People like me are spending 3 to 4 hours a day in apps. So, again, things are changing dramatically. New signs, new business. And as this marketing manager from Carnival says, our marketing business is changing rapidly, and we got to learn this quickly. And she's talking about social media, and as you can tell, the game in social media is changing rapidly. And I think this statistic summarizes how rapidly. The fact that the top 200 brands who really know how to work their social media marketing campaigns are already seeing only 1% engagement with their fans tells you a lot is changing rapidly. So the thought starter for the digital lifestyle, and again, I can't provide you with enough thought starters here because we've got not enough time, but this one tells you basically, make sure you speak the right language and get your marketing program connected with this whole new wave of consumer. Okay, crowdsourcing. The last thought I want to leave you with because I think this is a huge one. Crowdsourcing is a very cool new application that is based on social media. And what it does is this. Social media is, as you well know, a random content stream, a lot of data, and you have no idea what it is like. And crowdsourcing organizes the content and makes it very useful. I'll give you a perfect example, and I'm sure you'll like this one. In Spain, Guia Garrafón is a crowdsourcing website that allows you to report bars that water down alcoholic drinks. And you know those Spanish people, they need a lot of drinks right now, right? So this gives you an idea. Here you're using the wisdom of the crowd to help you pick your drinking bars better. Okay, a little more productive example for you. We have a website called Kickstarter, which allows you to raise money for your business. And this is the most successful application, the Pebble smartwatch, which has raised over $10 million for their business. So that gives you an idea of how it's going to revolutionize society. Crowdsourcing is perhaps the most exciting application I've seen out there, undoubtedly. And like Italy, we in America face a lot of problems. Mario Monti can't sleep at night, and neither can Mr. Obama, because we need a revolution in our society, and you need a revolution in your society. We have a lot of changes that need to happen, banks that are insolvent, and all kinds of other things that are happening that we need to change. Now, how can you change that? How can you change that? Crowdsourcing. So yesterday, I launched the Social Revolution crowdsourcing application that you see up here on the screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everyone in the United States, and around the world for that matter, to help me collect the best ideas, solutions, and innovations to put the country back onto a fast growth track, because we need to do that. And as you can imagine, this is perhaps one of the most creative ways of using social media for a very positive benefit that will benefit all of us here in this room. And it is a very, very, very ambitious idea, and a lot of people will tell you probably, hey, this can't be done. We can't change Italy. Well, I guess what? As Chairman Mao Zedong once said, the long journey starts with a single step. So this is my single step. I hope you like the ideas that I have talked to you about today. If you want to know more about what this application does, go to socialrevolution.spigot.com, and Spigot is spelled S-P-I-G-I-T. They are a $41 million startup in San Francisco, and that is the engine that is powering my solution and could be used here in Italy as well. So I highly recommend you check it out. It is the most powerful way to activate the crowd. So in summary, what have I spoken about today? Time compression, the acceleration of life, is making everything go faster, especially marketing, media, and media consumption. And you can see that these new signs and languages are infiltrating our lifestyle. We've got that online oxygen, you got the social sharing, you got FOMO, you got multimedia tasking, and these are all changing the way we do business. And perhaps the biggest one in that sect, which I have broken out separately, is the iPadification of society, because I think this has massive implications for you, marketer and media users, because that's going to change our whole world for us. And finally, I think crowdsourcing is perhaps the most revolutionary application, because unlike Facebook, which is a whole bunch of random collection of thoughts, crowdsourcing actually funnels all that energy and the wisdom of the crowd and pushes it forward in a very progressive fashion. And I like that a lot. If you're interested in what I do, please go to my website and download a free copy of my social engagement marketing book, which I think you'll find very interesting, because it's the only social marketing book that has a picture of Britney Spears and Hugo Chavez in it. Okay? And I know that I'm unique in that respect. And you can get that on my website, michaelchong.com. And I hope you found this stimulating, because my job here is to pump you up. Inspiration is the game of the future. And I hope you remember that thought. And I thank you very much for listening to me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.